I'm up in the attic of our lake house in the Catskills, surrounded by dusty boxes and the faint smell of pine and old paper, sorting through years of clutter to clear space for new shelves. It's a chilly October morning, the kind where the lake outside glints like polished glass, and the trees are a riot of red and orange, leaves crunching underfoot. This cabin's been my sanctuary for 20 years, a cozy A-frame Robert and I bought with the $200,000 my parents left me when they passed. It's where we brought our kids, Ben and Lisa, for summer escapes, where we'd fish off the dock, grill burgers, and watch fireflies dance at night. I'm digging through a box of Christmas ornaments, tangled tinsel and chipped Santas when I spot a cigar box, old and scuffed, shoved behind a stack of old blankets. I figure it's Robert's, maybe some fishing gear or mementos from his college days, but when I pry it open, my world turns upside down. There's an envelope inside, Robert's handwriting scrawled across it, addressed to Claire with a little heart next to her name. My stomach drops, like I've just stepped off a cliff. Robert and I have been married 25 years, raised Ben and Lisa, built a life together in Albany. Sure, we've had our rough patches, lately he's been gone a lot, always blaming business trips for his consulting firm, but a heart next to another woman's name? My hands shake as I tear open the envelope, the paper crinkling too loud in the attic silence. The letter's dated last month, and the words hit me like a slap. My darling Claire, it starts, I can't wait to be with you and the kids at the lake house. Our family's my heart, and I swear we'll have our forever soon. Our family. Kids. I sink to the floor, the letter trembling in my hands, my breath catching like I've been punched. I read it again, hoping I've got it wrong, but it's clear as day. Robert's not just cheating, he's got a whole second family, living in my lake house. My heart's pounding so hard it feels like it'll burst, but I keep digging, pulling out a stack of photos tucked under the letter. There's Robert, smiling wider than I've seen in years, standing on our dock with a woman young, maybe 30, with dark hair and a bright smile, her arm around him. Another photo shows him with 2 kids, a boy about 5 and a girl maybe 7, laughing on our porch, the one we repainted blue last summer. The kids have his hazel eyes, the same ones Ben and Lisa have. I feel sick, the attic spinning around me. My husband's been hiding a second family in the vacation home I paid for, the place we built our memories, and I'm sitting here holding the proof. I clutch the photos, my fingers creasing the edges, trying to make sense of it. Robert's been distant, sure, but I thought it was just the grind of his job, or maybe us settling into an empty nest with Ben and Lisa off on their own. Ben's a lawyer in the city, Lisa's teaching in Boston. We've had fights, mostly about his long hours or my nagging about the dishes, but nothing like this. How long has he been living this double life? How many times has he lied about those trips? I pick up a photo of him with the kids, building a sandcastle by the lake, and it's like a knife twisting in my gut. He looks happy, happier than he's been with me in years, and it's not our family he's smiling for, it's hers, theirs, in my cabin. I want to scream, to rip the photos to pieces, to call Robert right now and demand answers, but I stop myself. I've been through enough in life, losing my parents, raising 2 kids, keeping our marriage afloat through lean years, to know that rage won't win this. I need to be smart, not just hurt. I gather the letter and photos, shoving them back in the cigar box, and carry it downstairs to the kitchen. The lake house is quiet, the kind of quiet that presses down on you when you're holding a secret that could shatter everything. I set the box on the table, the same one where Robert and I used to plan our summers, where Ben and Lisa would beg for one more swim before bed. Now it feels like a lie, every memory stained by what he's done. I pull out my phone and call Diane, my friend from college who's been a private investigator for years. We met at SUNY Albany, stayed up late studying and laughing over cheap coffee. She's tough as nails, with a knack for finding what people want to hide. I say when she answers, my voice cracking despite my effort to stay calm, I need you. Robert's been lying to me, and it's worse than I ever imagined. I tell her about the letter, the photos, the second family in my lake house. I can hear her scribbling, her voice steady but sharp. Eleanor, I've got you, she says. Give me a week, and I'll get names, dates, everything. Don't confront him yet, you need the full story. I take a deep breath, my eyes on the deed to the lake house, still in my purse from when I checked it last year. I say, this house is in my name. My parents' money, not his. She pauses, and I can almost hear her grin. That's your power, Ellie. He's built his lie on your property. We'll make him pay for it. I hang up, my hands still shaking but my mind starting to focus. That lake house isn't just a cabin, it's mine, bought with the inheritance my parents worked their whole lives to leave me. Robert didn't put a penny into it, though he loved playing the big shot, inviting his buddies up for fishing trips, acting like he owned the place. I pull the deed from my purse, my name in bold, Eleanor Matthews. Not Robert's, not ours, just mine. He's been using my home to hide his second family, to betray me and our kids. The anger's burning now, hot and steady, pushing out the pain. I'm not just a wife who's been cheated on. I'm Eleanor Matthews, the woman who kept a family together, who held on to what's hers through every storm. Robert thinks he can sneak around, live a double life on my dime. He's about to learn what happens when you cross me, and I'm going to make sure he and this Claire woman lose every piece of the life they thought they'd stolen. I pull into the driveway of our colonial house in Albany, the sun dipping low behind the oak trees, casting long shadows across the lawn. The cigar box is still locked in my trunk, those photos of Robert with Claire and their kids burning a hole in my mind. I'm still shaking from what I found in the lake house attic, his letter, that heart next to her name, the words "our family" like a knife in my gut. 25 years of marriage, 2 kids raised, a life built together, and he's been hiding a second family in my vacation home, the one I bought with my parents' inheritance. Diane's voice echoes in my head, don't confront him yet. You need the full picture. She's right. I want to storm inside, throw that letter in Robert's face, demand answers, but I've got to be smarter than that. He thinks he's pulled one over on me, but I'm Eleanor Matthews, and I'm not letting him get away with this. I grab the cigar box from the trunk, clutching it like it's evidence in a murder case, and slip into the house through the garage. Robert's not home, probably off on another business trip, which I now know is code for playing house with Claire and her kids. The house is quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that makes your thoughts scream. I set the box on the kitchen counter, next to the deed for the lake house, my name printed clear as day, Eleanor Matthews. Not Robert's, not ours, just mine. That cabin was my parents' gift to me, $200,000 from their estate, meant to give us a place to make memories with Ben and Lisa. We'd spent summers there, fishing off the dock, roasting marshmallows, laughing until our sides hurt. Now it's tainted, every memory twisted by Robert's betrayal. I pour a glass of wine, my hands still unsteady, and sit at the kitchen table, staring at the cigar box. I don't open it again, can't bear to see those photos, Robert's smile, those kids with his eyes. Instead, I call Diane again, needing her to ground me. I say when she picks up, tell me you've got something. She's all business, her voice sharp like she's already on the hunt. I'm working on it, Ellie. Got a lead on Claire's last name, Mitchell, lives at your lake house full-time. I'm digging into property records, bank accounts, anything tied to Robert. Give me a few days, and I'll have a full report. I take a sip of wine, trying to steady my nerves. What about the kids? I ask, my voice catching. Are they his? Diane pauses, and I can hear her flipping pages. Looks that way. I found birth certificates, 2 kids, Ethan and Sophie, ages 5 and 7. Robert's listed as the father. My heart sinks, the wine turning sour in my mouth. Ethan and Sophie. They have names. Lives in my lake house. I think of Ben and Lisa, now 22 and 24, out on their own, and how Robert used to be their hero, coaching Ben's little league, teaching Lisa to swim in that lake. How long has he been splitting his life between us and them? Check our joint accounts, I say. He's been acting like money's tight, but if he's supporting another family, Diane cuts me off. Already on it. I'll trace every cent. And Ellie, I'm looking into Claire's background too. If she knew Robert was married, she's complicit. I nod, even though she can't see me. Just keep it quiet, Di. I don't want Robert or Claire knowing we're onto them. I hang up, my mind racing. The lake house is mine, legally untouchable, but Robert's been using it like it's his personal playground. I pull out my laptop, logging into our joint bank account, something I haven't done in years because Robert always handled the finances. My hands shake as I scroll through the transactions. There they are, hundreds of small withdrawals, labeled business expenses, totaling $10,000 over the past year. Then bigger ones, $5,000 to a C. Mitchell, $3,000 for consulting fees, another $2,000 to a utility company for the lake house address. My blood boils. He's been funneling my money, to Claire, paying for her life in my cabin. I call my bank, First Trust, where I've got a personal account separate from Robert's. I tell them to freeze the joint accounts, citing suspicious activity. The teller, a sweet kid named Jenny, hesitates. Mrs. Matthews, are you sure? Mr. Matthews usually, I cut her off. I'm sure. It's my account too, and I want it locked. She agrees, and I feel a small spark of control. Robert's going to notice soon, but I don't care. Let him squirm. I dig deeper, finding utility bills for the lake house in Claire's name, paid from our account. Gas, electric, internet, all for my property, where she's living with her kids, Robert's kids. I print the bills, adding them to the cigar box, building my case. The next day, Diane calls with more. Ellie, it's worse than we thought, she says. Claire's been living in the lake house for 3 years. Robert's been paying her rent, utilities, even school fees for the kids, all from your joint account. I've got bank statements showing $50,000 transferred to her over that time. And there's a lease agreement, forged, in Robert's name, not yours. A lease. My head spins. He's been renting my lake house to his mistress, pretending he owns it. Send me everything, I say, my voice steady despite the rage bubbling inside. And Di, find out if Claire knew I existed. Diane's voice hardens. Already on it. I'll have a full report by tomorrow. I spend the evening going through the evidence, my kitchen table now a war room. The letter, the photos, the bank statements, the forged lease, it's a mountain of betrayal. I think of Ben and Lisa, how they'd feel if they knew their dad had another family. I haven't told them yet, don't want to break their hearts until I have every fact. But the hurt is real, cutting deeper than I thought possible. Robert and I had our rough patches, sure, but I trusted him. Loved him. And he's been living a double life, using my lake house, my money, to do it. I look at the deed again, my name in black ink, and feel a surge of power. That cabin is mine, legally, morally, emotionally. He's been playing house on my turf, and that's his biggest mistake. By the time Robert gets home, I'm in bed, pretending to sleep. He doesn't suspect a thing, just kisses my forehead like everything's fine. I lie there, eyes open in the dark, planning my next move. Diane's report will give me the ammunition I need, and the lake house deed is my trump card. Robert thinks he's got this all figured out, but he doesn't know me, not the real Eleanor Matthews, the woman who raised 2 kids, kept a home, and held on to what's hers through every storm. He's about to find out what happens when you betray someone like me. I'm not just a wife scorned, I'm a woman with a plan, and I'm going to make sure he and Claire lose everything they thought they'd stolen. I'm sitting at my kitchen table in Albany, the cigar box of Robert's betrayal staring back at me like a ghost I can't shake. The photos, the letter to Claire, the bank statements showing $50,000 funneled to her over 3 years, it's all laid out in front of me, a map of my husband's double life. Diane's call yesterday hit me like a brick. Claire Mitchell, living in my lake house in the Catskills with her 2 kids, Ethan and Sophie, both Roberts. He's been paying their rent, utilities, even school fees, all from our joint account, while lying to me and our kids, Ben and Lisa, about business trips. The forged lease in his name, not mine, was the final straw. That lake house is mine, bought with my parents' inheritance, and he's been using it to play house with another family. My hands are steady now, the initial shock hardening into something sharper, resolve. I'm not just a betrayed wife. I'm Eleanor Matthews, and I'm about to take back what's mine. The morning light filters through the kitchen window, catching the deed to the lake house, my name printed in bold, Eleanor Matthews. I froze our joint accounts yesterday, cutting off Robert's access, and I can still hear the bank teller's hesitation before she locked them down. He hasn't noticed yet, he's still out on one of his trips, probably at the lake house with Claire, but when he does, it's going to hit him hard. I'm not waiting for that moment, though. I need a plan, something airtight, to make sure Robert and Claire lose every piece of the life they've built on my property. I call my lawyer, Karen, who's been my rock since we settled my parents' estate years ago. Karen, I say when she picks up, I need you at the house. It's about Robert, and it's bad. She doesn't ask questions, just says, I'll be there in an hour. While I wait, I go through the evidence again, every piece a stab to the heart. The letter to Claire, with its promises of our future, makes my stomach churn. The photos, Robert with her kids, laughing on my dock, feel like a betrayal of Ben and Lisa, who don't even know their dad's got another family. The bank statements, showing thousands drained for Claire's life, are a slap in the face. And that forged lease. It's proof Robert's not just a liar, he's a fraud, trying to pass off my lake house as his. I think back to when we bought it, 20 years ago, with my parents' $200,000. Robert didn't put a dime into it, but he loved acting like the big shot, inviting his buddies up for fishing weekends, bragging about our cabin. Now he's given it to Claire, like I don't exist. Karen arrives, her briefcase in hand, her grey suit crisp and no nonsense. She sits at the table, and I push the cigar box toward her. Robert's been hiding a second family in the lake house, I say, my voice steady despite the ache in my chest. Claire Mitchell and 2 kids, living there for 3 years, paid for with my money. He forged a lease in his name. Karen's eyes narrow as she flips through the photos, the letter, the bank statements. This is solid, Eleanor, she says, tapping the deed. The lake house is yours, 100%. Robert has no legal claim, and this forged lease won't hold up in court. Claire's living there without your consent, that's trespassing, at minimum. I lean forward, my hands clasped. What can I do? I want them out, and I want Robert to pay for this. Karen pulls out a notepad, jotting down ideas. First, we send Claire an eviction notice. The lake house is yours, so she has no right to stay. We'll give her 30 days to vacate, per state law, but we can push for faster if she resists. Second, we file a civil suit against Robert for financial fraud. Those transfers from your joint account without your knowledge are theft. We could also go for divorce, citing infidelity and fraud, which would give you leverage over his assets. I nod, my mind racing. Divorce wasn't something I'd let myself think about yet, but the word feels right, like a door I'm ready to open. And the kids? I ask, my voice softening. Claire's kids. I don't want to hurt them, but they're not my responsibility. Karen's eyes meet mine, steady and kind. They're not. Robert made this mess. We'll focus on protecting you and your property. I spend the afternoon with Karen, mapping out every step. We draft the eviction notice for Claire, citing my ownership and the forged lease. I also authorize Karen to pull Robert's financial records, going back 5 years, to see how deep this goes. Diane calls while we're working, her voice tight with new info. Ellie, I found more, she says. Claire knew Robert was married. I've got emails between them, her asking about your wife and him saying he's handling it. She's been complicit from the start. My jaw clenches. Claire's not some innocent victim, she chose to live in my house, knowing I existed. Send me the emails, I say. And keep digging. Diane promises a full report by morning, including any other accounts Robert might be hiding. By evening, I'm alone again, the kitchen table covered in papers, the eviction notice, the bank statements, Diane's preliminary report. I pour another glass of wine, my hands steadier now, and think about Ben and Lisa. I haven't told them yet, can't bear to break their hearts until I have every fact. But the thought of them finding out their dad's got another family, another set of kids, makes my chest ache. I look at the deed again, my name anchoring me. That lake house is more than a cabin, it's my parents' legacy, my kids' memories, my right. Robert's been using it to betray us, and Claire's been living there like it's hers. I'm not letting that stand. I call the utility company for the lake house, confirming the bills are in Claire's name but paid from my account. Cut them off, I tell the rep, water, electric, internet, all of it. The property's mine, and I'm not paying for squatters. The rep hesitates, but I read her the deed number, and she agrees to shut everything off by tomorrow. It's a small move, but it feels good, like I'm taking back control. Robert's still out, probably with Claire, oblivious to the storm coming. I sit back, the cigar box in front of me, and feel a fire growing inside. I'm not just Eleanor, the wife who trusted too much. I'm Eleanor Matthews, the woman who built a life, who owns that lake house, who won't let her husband's lies steal what's hers. He and Claire think they've got this all figured out, but they're about to learn what happens when you cross me. My plan's in motion, and I'm ready to bring their world crashing down. I'm standing in my kitchen in Albany, the cigar box of Robert's lies sitting on the counter like a ticking bomb. The past few days have been a whirlwind. Diane's investigation confirming Claire Mitchell and her 2 kids, Ethan and Sophie, living in my lake house, Robert funneling $50,000 of our money to them, and a forged lease in his name, pretending he owns what's mine. I've frozen our joint accounts, cut off the lake house utilities, and worked with my lawyer, Karen, to draft an eviction notice for Claire, giving her 30 days to get out. The deed to the lake house, with my name Eleanor Matthews in bold, is my anchor, proof that Robert's been playing house on my property, bought with my parents' inheritance. Tonight, he's coming home from one of his business trips, and I'm ready to lay it all bare. He thinks he's got me fooled, but I'm Eleanor Matthews, And I'm about to show him what happens when you betray the woman who built your life. I spend the day preparing, not just for dinner, roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, the kind of meal Robert loves, but for war. Karen sent me the final eviction notice, a crisp document citing my ownership and the forged lease, ready to mail to Claire tomorrow. Diane's emailed more evidence, bank records showing another $5,000 transferred to Claire last week, and those damning emails where she asked Robert about your wife and he said he was handling it. My stomach churns, but the anger keeps me focused. I print everything, photos, bank statements, emails, the lease, the eviction notice, and stack them in a folder next to the deed. The kitchen table, where we used to plan our kids' futures, is now my battleground. I haven't told Ben and Lisa yet, can't bear to break their hearts until I've faced Robert, but tonight, he's going to answer for every lie. Robert walks in at 6 p.m., his suit rumpled, his smile easy like nothing's wrong. "Hey, hun," he says, dropping his briefcase by the door. "Smells amazing." I force a smile, my heart pounding, and gesture to the table. "Sit, dinner's ready." He doesn't notice the folder, or the way my hands shake as I serve the chicken. We eat, him talking about some deal he's closing, me nodding along, waiting. He's always been good at this, charming, smooth, making you feel like you're the only one in the room. But now I see it for what it is, a mask. I think of Claire, her kids, their life in my lake house, and the rage bubbles up, hot and steady. After dessert apple pie I bake to keep my hands busy, I clear the plates and set the folder on the table. "Robert," I say, my voice cold as ice, "who's Claire?" His fork clatters to the plate, his face going white like he's seen a ghost. "What?" he stammers, his eyes darting to the folder. I slide the letter across the table, the one with the heart next to her name. "Claire Mitchell," I say. "The woman you're hiding in my lake house with your 2 kids." I open the folder, spreading out the photos, him with Claire on the dock, with Ethan and Sophie on the porch. His mouth opens, then closes, like he's trying to find a lie that'll stick. "Ellie, it's not what you think," he starts, but I cut him off, slamming the bank statements down. "Not what I think," I say, my voice rising. "You've been funneling $50,000 of our money to her, Robert. Paying her rent, her utilities, her kids' school fees, all from my account. You forged a lease, acting like you own the lake house." I shove the deed toward him, my name glaring in black ink. "It's mine, Robert. My parents' money, not yours. You've been using my home to hide your second family." His face crumples, his hands shaking. "Ellie, I love you," he says, his voice breaking. "It was a mistake, a fling that got out of hand. I was going to end it." "A fling?" I laugh, sharp and bitter, and slide the emails across the table. "Claire knew you were married. You told her you were handling me. 3 years, Robert. That's no fling." He's sweating now, his charm gone, replaced by desperation. "I didn't mean to hurt you," he says, reaching for my hand. I pull back, my eyes burning. "You didn't just hurt me," I say. "You betrayed Ben and Lisa, our kids, who think you're their hero. And you used my lake house to do it." I push the eviction notice toward him. "Claire and her kids have 30 days to get out. I've frozen our accounts, cut off the utilities. They're done living on my dime." Robert's eyes widen, his voice rising. "You can't do that. Those kids, they're innocent." I lean forward, my voice low and hard. "They're your kids, Robert, not mine. You made this mess, and you're going to clean it up." He stands, pacing, his hands in his hair. "Ellie, please," he begs. "I'll fix this. I'll leave Claire, I'll make it right. But I'm done listening. I've heard his promises before, when he swore he'd cut back on work, when he said we'd grow old together at the lake house. All lies. You're not fixing this, I say, standing to face him. You built a life behind my back, and you thought I'd never find out. But I'm Eleanor Matthews, and I don't let liars steal what's mine. I point to the door. Sleep in the guest room tonight. We're done talking. He stares at me, his face a mix of shock and fear, then grabs his briefcase and slinks upstairs. I sit back down, the folder still open, my heart heavy but my resolve like steel. I call Karen after he's gone, my voice steady now. It's done, I say. He knows. Send the eviction notice to Claire tomorrow. Karen's voice is calm, professional. I'll mail it certified, and I'll start drafting the divorce papers. You want to go for fraud too? I think of the $50,000, the forged lease, the years of lies. Yeah, I say. Everything he's got. I hang up, looking at the photos again, Robert with Claire, with their kids, in my lake house. The pain's still there, but it's fuel now. He thought he could play me, hide a whole family on my property. But I'm not just a wife he betrayed. I'm Eleanor Matthews, and I'm taking back my home, my dignity, my life. Robert's about to learn what happens when you cross a woman who knows her worth, and I'm not stopping until he and Claire have nothing left. Robert's pacing in the guest room upstairs echoes through the house like a bad omen, his desperate pleas from last night still ringing in my ears. Ellie, please, I'll fix this, but I'm done listening. I've laid it all out for him, the letter to Claire, the photos of him with her and their kids in my lake house, the $50,000 he stole from our joint account, the forged lease pretending he owns what's mine. I've frozen the accounts, cut off the utilities, and sent the eviction notice to Claire, giving her 30 days to get out of my Catskills cabin, the one I bought with my parents' inheritance. The deed with my name, Eleanor Matthews, sits on the kitchen table like a shield, proof that Robert's double life was built on my property. He's begging for forgiveness, but I'm not the forgiving type anymore. I'm Eleanor Matthews, and this is the reckoning. He and Claire are about to lose everything they thought they had. The next morning, I'm up early, coffee in hand, staring at the folder of evidence, the photos, bank statements, emails where Claire asked about your wife and Robert said he was handling it. Karen, my lawyer, calls as I sip my coffee. The eviction notice is on its way to Claire, certified mail, she says. And I've filed the divorce papers, citing infidelity and financial fraud. We're going after half his assets, plus restitution for the $50,000 he transferred. I nod, my voice steady. Good. And the lake house? Karen's tone is firm. Untouchable. It's yours, premarital asset. We'll make sure Robert can't claim a dime. I hang up, a weight lifting off my chest. Robert's still upstairs, probably nursing a hangover from his mistakes, but I'm done waiting. I drive to the lake house, the 2-hour trip giving me time to steel myself. I need to see Claire, face the woman who helped Robert betray me, and make sure she knows this ends now. I pull up to the cabin, the place looking run down without power, the utilities I cut off yesterday leaving it dark and cold. Claire's car is in the driveway, a beat-up SUV loaded with boxes. She's on the porch, her dark hair tied back, her face red as she argues on the phone. The kids Ethan and Sophie are inside, peeking through the window, looking confused and scared. My heart tugs for them, but they're Robert's mess, not mine. Claire spots me, her eyes narrowing as she hangs up. You, she spits, stepping forward. You're the wife. You cut off the power. The kids are freezing. I step out of my car, holding the eviction notice and the deed. This is my house, Claire, I say, my voice calm but sharp. You've been living here for 3 years, knowing Robert was married. You made your choice. She crosses her arms, her face twisting with anger. He said he was leaving you. He promised us a life together. I laugh, short and bitter, and shove the emails toward her, Diane's printouts showing her asking about your wife. You knew, Claire. You helped him lie, steal from me, forge a lease for my property. Her eyes flick to the papers, her bravado cracking. The kids need a home, she says, her voice breaking. You can't just throw us out. I hold up the deed. I can, and I am. 30 days, Claire. Pack up and leave. Robert's the one who did this to you. The kids come to the door, Sophie clutching a doll, Ethan looking small and scared. I feel a pang, but I don't soften. Tell Robert to step up, I say. This is his family too. Claire glares, tears in her eyes, but she nods, defeated. I drive away, my hands gripping the wheel, knowing I've started the end. Back in Albany, Robert's waiting, his face pale and desperate. Ellie, Claire called, he says, his voice shaking. The power's off, the eviction notice came. You can't do this to the kids. I set my purse down, facing him. I can, Robert. It's my house. You built your lie on my property, stole my money to fund it. The kids are your responsibility, not mine. He begs again, promising to end it with Claire, to make it right, but I'm done. You had your chance, I say. Karen's filed for divorce. You'll get the papers soon. His face crumples, and he slumps onto the couch, muttering about how he'll fight it. But he won't win, the evidence is ironclad, and the lake house is mine. The weeks fly by in a blur of legal battles. Karen serves Robert the divorce papers, demanding half his assets and restitution for the fraud. He fights at first, hiring a lawyer, claiming the transfers were gifts, but Diane's evidence, bank records, emails, the forged lease shuts him down. The court sides with me, awarding me full control of the lake house and $100,000 in damages from Robert's accounts. Claire vacates the cabin on day 29, her SUV packed with what little she has, the kids in the back seat. Diane tells me she's moved in with her sister, no job, no support from Robert, who's drowning in legal fees. He tries to beg one last time, showing up at the house with flowers, tears in his eyes. Ellie, I love you, he says. We can start over. I look him in the eye. You loved your lie more, Robert. We're done. I sell the lake house a month later, the sale closing for $450,000, more than enough to cover the memories I'm leaving behind. I put the money in a trust for Ben and Lisa, telling them the truth about their dad when they come home for the holidays. They're hurt, angry, but they stand by me, proud of how I fought. Robert ends up in a small apartment, his consulting firm folding under the scandal, Claire and the kids struggling without his support. I walk away with my dignity, my finances secure, and a new life ahead. The lake house is gone, but I've reclaimed what matters, my strength, my legacy. Robert and Claire thought they could hide in my home, but I left them homeless, with nothing but the consequences of their choices. I'm Eleanor Matthews, and nobody takes from me without paying the price.